Welcome back. Welcome back to the live YouTube gang. Y'all already know I'm your host, Major. And y'all know this is the Doghouse. Before we get into anything, man, let's go ahead and hit the like button as we walk in. Um, and first thing first, man, I want to say shout out to all of everybody, all of my subscribers that subscribe to the channel, everybody that participate in the chat. Now, speaking of the chat, I don't know what's going on with the chat. It seems like every other day my chat is not showing up on my screen. Maybe I have to refresh some stuff or whatever, but I tried refreshing it. Screen is not going to show the chats today, but man, appreciate everybody that subscribed to the channel and those that actually participate in the chat, man. I appreciate y'all. You know what I'm saying? Y'all keep me going. So, yeah, y'all make sure y'all hit that like button, comment, and subscribe, and keep tuning into the Doghouse. I'm gonna keep content going. You know what I mean? So I really wasn't gonna go live today, just due to the fact that it wasn't really much to talk about when it comes to the dogs. But I felt like I do need to talk to you guys. I think we do need to talk about a few things that we feel like a few key points that we feel like we need to do in order to beat Alabama this coming Saturday. Also, I will be live at 7:30 Saturday for the Alabama Georgia game. You know what I mean? Y'all make sure y'all tune in. Tune in. We'll be live talking about it, talking about things that we need to do and things that we need to clean up on. Right. So, the first thing first, I want to talk about the injury list, man. So Kirby talked and he spoke about some of the players that were injured, whatever, and it was it was like one main player that a lot of people felt some type of way about, him not being able to play. And we're going to get to the injury list. So, you got Warren Gasson. He's out for a knee ankle. You got Ernest Green. I think Ernest Green been out. I don't know if he actually played this season yet, but I don't remember or recall him getting in. He been out. And then, both of those guys are old linemen. So that's been a major thing for us. With Georgia is having a strong and healthy O line, and I feel like we did good versus Tennessee, but we gonna have to make sure that we rotate these guys. And hey, just like Kirby said, man, this the next man up. That's what Georgia is all about, the next man up. But the biggest blow to a lot of the fan base is Dwight Phillips. So Dwight Phillips has been the most explosive in my opinion. You know what I mean? Even though I just felt like he was more explosive on the outside, regardless if it's the outside or the inside, I feel like he's explosive, period. Well, I can't say he's explosive on the inside, but I feel like even if it is the outside, he's a young guy and he's explosive regardless. So, hopefully he gets right. As far as what I saw in the article on Dog Nation, it doesn't seem like it's a massive blow. It don't seem, we don't know if he's going to actually play against Alabama, but as far as what I seen, they were saying like he was saying like he seems fine playing with the special teams. He had no limitations, so that's a good thing. You know what I mean? And they said an available report for the Georgia Alabama game is going to be put on. What they said will be put on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then once again 90 minutes before kickoff. So we really don't know exactly if we're going to see Dwight Phillips. Me personally, I feel as if we could use Dwight Phillips definitely, especially with him being explosive on the outside runs. But, I mean, we still got our starters in. We got to look at that. We still got Nate Frazier. We still got Cash Jones. We still got Chauncey Bowens. You know what I mean? So we still have good guys and reliable guys to come in and do their thing. We just need the offensive line, I feel like, to do their thing. You know what I mean? I think that does play a part in Gunnar Stockton's game. But here's my main thing, too. And I also want to talk about the defense also. You know what I mean? Because I saw something about Dalen Everett being hurt, but then I started researching it, and I didn't see any real information on if he is on hurt or not. But he's not on the Dog Nation's injured list. So I'm kind of referencing my opinion on Dog Nation, and as far as Dog Nation goes, I didn't see Dalen Everett on it. So we'll just say he's not injured as of now. But I did think I thought I saw something today. I'm not sure. But that's neither here nor there. We still got Broderick Robertson out with a hamstring injury. He hasn't really played all season. I think he played like a couple of snaps, but outside of that, he hasn't been really a major or a key player. And then you got Andre Evans. He's a cornerback. We haven't seen him all season. If somebody's seen him, let me know in the chat. Let me know how well he did. But then you got tight end Ethan Barbour. You know what I mean? He got a leg injury. His injury was bad, man. And I'm gonna get back to the defense. I'm kind of going off topic. I'm gonna get back to the defense, but his injury was kind of similar to Nick Chubb's injury, man. Foot going one way, leg look like it's kind of going the other direction. You know what I mean? So I all prayers out to Ethan Barbour, man. That looked like a nasty injury, and obviously we won't see him for the rest of the season. This season, you know what I mean? Hopefully we get him back next season and he, do some good things for us next season because he seemed like he was going to be a prominent player. But outside of that, I want to get back to the defense, man, because like I said, I spoke on Dalen Everett, and that's just something that I came across. It could have been anything. Maybe I was just seeing something, I don't know. But I did see something speaking about Dalen Everett being hurt, but I also researched and I didn't see anything on it. So hopefully that's a good thing for us. I really want to be real with y'all. I just think our defense need to be elite this game. I think for both teams, this is going to show where both teams are really, really at as far as how well or how good of a team that both of these teams are. You know what I mean? I think that our defense can definitely expose Alabama. Well, our offense can definitely expose Alabama's defense. You know what I mean? I don't feel like Alabama's defense is, that much better. And like I said before in prior lives or videos, I don't think that Alabama is much better than Tennessee. I think they're kind of equivalent. I could be wrong, but I'm hoping that I'm right. I think they're kind of equivalent with how they play. I think we won't have one major thing that we won't have to worry about is that tempo offense. So I think for us, as far as with Georgia playing Tennessee in week 3, I think that was a major challenge for us. And it was a challenge. It was a good challenge for us for us to play a team and still beat this team, even with them having that fast-paced offense. Now, obviously, they should have won that game, but they lost due to their kicker, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, a win is a win, so it's all good for me, But like I say, I think that with Alabama, not having that up-tempo offense, I think Ty Simpson can get out of the pocket and make some plays. So I need for our defense, our linebackers, and I need everybody to pay attention to that as well as with us. They got to pay attention to Gunnar Stockton because Gunnar Stockton can also run, and I think he's going to utilize his legs a lot in this game. This is one of those games where they're going to have to pull it all the way out. You know what I mean? So hopefully that's what can happen. Hopefully we pull everything out. We are missing some key pieces, but at the same time, we still have other guys. It's the next man up with Georgia. So hopefully everything goes right with that. I need everything to go right because we need to beat Georgia. I think I had a few things in mind when it came to this game, and I was like, what do we gain from winning this game, and what do we gain? And like, where do we sit if we lose this game? And I was thinking about a bunch of different things. I didn't want to just, so I was thinking about a bunch of different situations. I was like, okay, what do we gain for winning, and where do we sit if we don't win? Because if we don't win, we lose. If we lose, we lose into a team that's not even in the top 10. If we lose into a team that's 2-1. So I'm not sure. And for those who walking off in the chat, man, y'all make sure y'all hit that like button. Walking off in the live, make sure y'all hit that like button. You know what I mean? Comment and subscribe. You know what I mean? But yeah, I was thinking about it. Like, what do we lose and what do we gain? And I think that as far as gaining goes, I think this game will show us where we really at. I know Tennessee was a game that everybody assumed that, okay, this is gonna even me. I'm even me. I assume, okay, depending on how we play this game, it's gonna tell how we'll be for the whole season. I think that they did well against Tennessee. I think that if they do the same or even better against Alabama, we'll also come out with the win versus Alabama. But I think if we win this game here, I think the rest of the schedule will just be, I won't say a breeze, but you can pretty much expect us to win for the rest of the schedule if we win this game here. If we lose this game, like I said before, it may not look too good for us. I even started thinking, like, if we lose this game, do we play for a SEC title? If we lose this game, because like I said, if we lose it, we're losing to a team that's, number 12 in the AP poll. They're already 2-1. They haven't played anybody. You know what I mean? And they'll be playing the number 5 team in the country. So for a team like that hasn't played really anybody, and they're number 12, for them to beat a number 5 team that has already beaten a well-established team in the SEC, that's going to look real good for them. It's going to look excellent for them. So my question is to the people is like, where do we sit if we lose this game? That's my main question. Where do we sit if we lose this game? And like I said, I had a bunch of things that I was thinking about, but if we lose it, I don't think it would be that bad, but I think it will hurt us if we do lose this game because we really are expected to win this game. I know the expectations ain't that high. Me personally, I feel like it'll be a close scoring game. It's gonna come down to who wants it most. I think, like I say, with our DBs, we need those guys to step up because what we seen against Tennessee was not very good. It was, you had a couple of busted plays, and it was like, we can't do this against Alabama. You know what I mean? We have to grind it out against Alabama, and I know we're gonna do that. We done met adversity with Tennessee. We done grind it out with them, so I know we can do the same. We at home, we definitely have home field advantage. That's a great thing that we do have home field advantage, and I know a lot of people want to put a dent or close in the gap in the losses that we had against Alabama, because at the end of the day, everybody's claiming Alabama is our daddy and everything else, and it kind of looks like that. It kind of looks like it, But I think with this game, I think we're gonna need Stetson. Damn, I keep calling every other quarterback except for Gunner. I think we need Gunner to do more in this game. I think the pass protection may not be there as much in this game, so we're gonna need him to get outside that pocket and make plays, on the run. Hopefully he does do that. Hopefully Mike Bobo designs some great plays for him to do so, and just make some decent plays. Like I say in the beginning of the video, y'all, the chat is not showing up on my screen for whatever reason. It's some type of malfunction, so you can just put your chat in. I'll still see it, you know what I mean, and I'll respond. Y'all already know I'm gonna respond to chat. So anyway, yeah, like I say, man, I just think that Gunner is gonna have to really go for broke with this game right here. Yeah, I felt like that against Tennessee also, but I really feel like that because we are big rivals, Alabama and Georgia. So I need us to step the game up. I need Bobo to draw some plays up to really put it on Bama, man, because I think Bama knows that we are a threat to them, especially this season. I think they know that we're a major threat. 225 girl, shout out to you, man, for jumping off in the live. Like I said, my chat ain't showing up on the screen, so my apologies for that. You know what I mean? I like for everybody to be able to see everybody coming. I mean, you can see it as long as you're in the chat, but I like for it to be on the screen. 225 girl said, "Go Dogs." How you think Kirby and Bobo will game plan for this game? Wear down the defense, runs, or aggressive from start? I think start to finish. I think they need to be aggressive from start to finish. I think we definitely, that's our strategy with every team. I think, wear and tear. I think that's our major. We do that with every team, in my opinion. We got the running back. So long as we can see where if we can run on these guys, if we can run on them, we definitely gonna run the ball. You know what I mean? I think that's where we gonna excel at this whole season is our ability to run the ball. You know what I mean? I know we having problems with the O-line, but I think that's where our strong point is this season is the run game, and it's gonna get established a little more and more and more during the season. We probably going to see more explosive plays come from Nate Frazier, Chauncey Bourne, as well as Cash Jones and Dwight Phillips. Like I said, from the article, it don't look like Dwight Phillips is really hurt. It's a slight foot injury. It's nothing major. So I see us making some explosive plays on the run against Alabama also. You know what I mean? We just got to draw up some decent plays. I think Kirby and Bobo know what time it is. Obviously, they're the coaches. They know what time it is. Do I think they feel like we at our best? No, because we still may be missing some key players. But at the same time, I think they know, what to do. I think they know how to strategize. So, yeah, to your answer, 225 girl, I think it's going to be a little bit of both. I think they will start out fast just because we're playing Alabama. You have to start out fast with teams, that strong teams in the SEC, but also you have to make sure you wear them defenses down. You know what I mean? So I believe it's going to be a little bit of both. I don't know how y'all really think, but I think it's going to be a little bit of both. And like I said, I need Gunnar Stockton to really use them legs and really play his type of game. Of course, in the first half, you know what I mean? He just want to protect the ball, make sure he making the right decisions and things like that. But, I want to see a little more of Gunnar outside of Georgia. I want to see a little more Gunnar at Georgia. You know what I mean? Like, I'm ready to see a dual threat. That's what I'm ready to see. And I'm talking about a dual threat that can be a dual threat against any team or anybody. So that's the major thing that I really do want to see. So hopefully we get to see that. You know what I mean? Hopefully we get to see that because I'm ready for it. I'm ready for Bama. I'm a little nervous because we don't want to get into a shootout. I don't know if we want to get into a shootout just yet because we haven't seen Gunnar Stockton in a shootout. So we've been relying on our running backs and Gunnar Stockton has made a good bit of meaningful plays downfield. I'll give him credit for that. He has made some meaningful plays downfield, so I have to give him credit. Even though he's not my favorite player, I still got to give him credit, where credit is due. But I don't know if he can handle a shootout. I'm just not sure that, especially with the O-line. So with that being said, what you think we're going to have to do? We're going to have to utilize them running backs as much as possible. You know what I mean? But how do you do that when your O-line is hurt? You know what I mean? So that's the question. It's like, how do you establish that run game against this team if you don't have a O-line? It's the next man up at Georgia. I get that, but the next man up may not have as much as experience as a Ernest Green or even a Juan Gatson. You know what I mean? So hopefully it may end up a defensive game. I'm thinking that it could be a defensive game. But Tyler Simpson can go out there. Tyler, whatever. He can go out there and let it rip. And that guy Bernard is a pretty good wide receiver. I've seen him do way more than Ryan Williams have done this season. So it could be a shootout, but I would rather see a defensive game. I would rather see that just with the fact that but you know what? I also want to see guys like Kobe Young. I want to see Noah Thomas get in the fold at some point. You know what I mean? I want to see more from London Humphreys. He caught the meaningful touchdown pass against Tennessee. So I don't know if we're going to see the tight ends because with the O-line being hurt, we're going to need the tight ends to block. So I don't know if we're going to see the tight ends go out there and make a couple of catches. I hope we do, but at the same time, I hope they just, do what they need to do as far as where they need to be, where they need. Excuse me, y'all. I hope they just where they needed to be. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, if we need them to block, then do your job blocking. But if we need you to do anything else, then it is what it is. I just want to see a good game out there. I think it will be a good. I think this probably will be the best. I think this game probably will be a better game than Tennessee, than us in Tennessee. I think so. Excuse me, y'all. I've been having a couple of little drinks today, so yeah, I think this game probably will be better than us in Tennessee. I think everybody knows how much we expected to win this game. I think everybody knows the rivalry. They know that this game is probably the biggest game of the season. Ransom, what it is, bro. Salute to you. You know what I mean? So I think everybody bought into it. And then also, I always tend to leave out Dylan Bell, man. Dylan Bell is one of the guys that we need to see a little more from too. I don't know if we're gonna see much from Dylan Bell. I think Dylan Bell he might have something going on. He's just been kind of in hiding a little bit. He made a play or two. Did he make a play against Tennessee? I'm not sure. I thought he did. I thought he might have did. It probably wasn't for a lot of yards or nothing like that. But Noah Thomas is the biggest question mark in my opinion. Like, for him to be the number one receiver over there with the Aggies, I'm kind of surprised that he's not. He hasn't shown up in none of these games. I'm kind of surprised at that. I was expecting to see him by now. Especially with his height and size. Like, we hadn't seen dude at all. So hopefully we get to see him at some point. You know what I mean? Like, we have to use all our weapons. I know that Alabama ain't the most dominant team in the SEC nowadays, but we got to pull everything out the hat in order to pull this game off. Because we still have a full season ahead of us. So we got to do what we got to do with this game. If we got to get Noah Thomas in there, draw up some plays to get this guy open. He have to get open. I saw him over there. I saw him play for the Aggies, man. He looks very good when he's out there making catches. But I don't know what's going on with this play calling to where they only throwing those bubble screens. They're only decent when the ball is going to Zachariah Branch. It's only decent when it's going to him. He's the only one that's going to make those yards after the catch. I don't see no other receiver that's going to make those type of yards after the catch, not on those screen passes. You know what I mean? But I'm not saying not try them out. Obviously, that's our game plan, is to try those screens out. But my only thing is we're going to have to start doing more deep passes, even if it's 20-yard passes. Like, we got to start doing more deep passes. I don't know what the deal is. We was able to see it against Tennessee, and that's cool, but I think we need to see a lot more. I think it's about that time. And this game is going to be the game that's going to tell us exactly who we are as Georgia Bulldogs, because it don't get no harder than playing Tennessee on the road, beating them, and then turning around and, after 2 weeks and playing Alabama and beating them, hopefully. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, I gotta see this, man. Use Noah and Kobe, especially when in the red zone. In the red zone, you say use Noah and Kobe, especially when in the red zone. I don't know about the red zone so much. After the Tennessee game, them boys showed me that they won't give up. Yeah, one thing about it is, man, I believe that they won't give up. I believe that they'll grind it out. But just because you won't give up and grind it out don't mean that you'll pull off the win. Yeah, we did against Tennessee, but obviously it was only due to the kicker missing the kick. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. Like, we're going to need to see more from the offensive line as far as being able to have a deep threat. We got to get somebody vertical. The screens works at times, but they don't always work. So at the end of the day, they're going to be expecting those bubble screens. I'm 100% sure that that's what they're gonna zone in on as far as preparation. They're gonna zone in on the fact that we know they do a lot of bubble screening. So if we can control that and make him throw the ball downfield, we'll have a better chance. I'm pretty sure that's what Alabama thinking right now. And that's if that's the case, like I said, we're gonna have to find some type of vertical threat. I thought it would be Kobe Young, or Noah Thomas. That's who I thought it could be. I just feel like we got to do more. I feel like it also with the tight ends. Now, like I say, in this game, I'm expecting the tight ends to do more blocking than anything. I'm not expecting the tight ends to be out there going out there catching. You know what I mean? Because you already got Warren Gasson, Ernest Green hurt. So, yeah. I'm expecting them to do more blocking than anything. Help that pass protection. You say, bro, Bama trash online right now. What'd you say? You said Bama trash. O-line right side and left side, definitely no run. Now I do know that. I don't know a lot about Alabama, but I do know that the O-line is not very good. Their run game is not very good. I do know that, you know what I mean? But at the same time, we're playing Bama, bro. We're playing Bama. We thought last season that we could possibly beat Bama. Jalen Milroe was the only reason, in my opinion, we couldn't beat Bama. That run game. But Georgia can't haul it. I mean, Alabama can barely stop the run this season. So that could be a good thing for us. They barely can stop the run. But like I say, you just never know because they're gonna be on the road. So they are trying to win on the road against the number 5 team. So they are going to play us hard as shit. So we have to expect we can't sit there and not expect these boys to go hard on us. We can't do that because we already know our biggest rivals is Alabama, So we got to expect Alabama and Tennessee, but we got to expect them boys to go hard. They know they on the road, a night game. I think it's going to be a good game because of it's no bad weather. It's not going to be extremely hot. So it's going to be a hell of a game. I will say that. But I just want to see us pull off a major win, and not against a mediocre opponent. I want to see us pull off a major win from a top-tier opponent. And even though Alabama is number 12 in the AP poll, to me they still top tier because we still haven't really had a real big win, against them outside of the national championship game. Not the Natty. That wasn't a Natty. That was a SEC championship. I'm sorry. I'm never doubting a team. 34 straight home game win after Bama. You can't leave no stone unturned when it comes to playing Bama. That's all I'm saying. Ransom. All I'm saying is, bro, you can't count them out, bro. You can't count them out. I counted them out last season. I'm not even going to lie. I didn't feel like they had what it take to beat Georgia last season, but they pulled it off, So it's like I'm not going to count a team out just because they don't look at their best. They still have guys over there. I feel like they match up. I honestly feel like they match up damn near perfectly with Georgia. Our O-line a little busted up. They O-line ain't hitting hardly on nothing. You know what I mean? Our run game obviously is better. I saw Ty Simpson out there making some plays. It wasn't on no team like Georgia, obviously, but at the same time, I saw that guy out there making some plays downfield, throwing some good balls. So, you can't count a team out, just because you feel like they down right now. You ain't no use in trying to kick them because their team might kick you back, So I never count anyone out. I just have faith in my dog. Yeah, it's good to have faith in the dogs, bro, but it also, too, you don't want to, I'm not calling you delusional, but you don't want to be delusional or you don't want to be so biased about your team to where you just think that they can beat every single team, which I want to believe that Georgia can beat every single team on our schedule. But I know there are teams in our way, just like Tennessee was in our way. Now it's Bama, you know what I mean? Then some people say, even Ole Miss. And speaking of Ole Miss, I will be live for that game, Ole Miss LSU game Saturday. So y'all tune in for that too. You know what I mean? Obviously, I'm gonna be live for the Bama and Georgia game, but yeah, Ole Miss and LSU, I'll be live for that game. I'm only going live for 2 games because I feel like there's no point in me watching every single game all day. Plus, I be having stuff to do. I can't sit there on live all day and watch every single game. I just can't. I can't do that. I be having other stuff going on. But, yeah, like I said, I will be live for those 2 games, so y'all make sure y'all tune in. We're going to kick back. Y'all get your popcorn or, whatever floats your boat. You know what I mean? We're going to be live and talking about the game from the beginning to the end. I feel like the Ole Miss LSU game probably going to be a real good one. If I'll give it to – I'll probably give it to Ole Miss. I'm thinking I'm going to give it to not Ole Miss, but LSU. But at the end of the day, I really don't care who win out of them 2. I just want to see the talent in both of those teams. Really, just Ole Miss, because they the only out of those 2. They the ones that we play this season. So that's really why I'm going live, to see the talent level over there. And I want to see what Lane Kiffin got. Because I mean we gotta get our get back, right? We gotta get that get back. But yeah, man. Stay tuned for that. We will be. But what y'all think, though, man? What y'all think? What's 3 main things that do you think that it's gonna take in order to beat Bama? What's three? I'm only asking for three. What's three main things do you think that it's gonna take in order to beat Bama? I don't, and I don't really have three. I can think of it, but I don't really have three. But that's why I'm only saying three things. Because I feel like there are a few things that we can utilize. I think our run game is the main thing that we can utilize in order to beat this team. We have too many talented running backs, and our main running backs are all healthy. Even the fact I understand the fact that Dwight Phillips, but your starter is still in, and Dwight Phillips is not really considered a starter. I mean, he is in a sense, but he's just in rotation. But your starters is in. Your Nate Frazier's, your Chauncey Bowens, your Cash Jones, and we tend to forget about Cash Jones for whatever reason. You know what I mean? But he's a very reliable running back. So at the end of the day, and he can go out there and make a couple of catches. So at the end of the day, you have your three starters. Like either one of those guys, all four of those guys are talented. Roger Robinson, he hasn't been in. He's not a factor. So even though he's injured, I hope that he gets well, but he's really not a factor this season. So it really doesn't bother me that he's not going to be playing, even though I want us to draw all of our weapons. You know what I mean? DB, run the ball, keep Bama offense off the field, apply pressure to Ty Simpson. That's three basic but good. That's three good things. That's kind of I agree with you all the way. I agree with that. Run the ball, keep Bama offense off the field, apply pressure to Ty Simpson. Yeah. Better pass rush, secondary, staying focused and keep their eyes more chunk plays. I agree. DBs not allow Ryan and Bernard torching them deep. O-line hold up enough. We're gonna make plays. Wear down defense with the run game. Yeah, I think all of y'all are 100% correct on that one. Bobby Chulo, what's going on, man? Yeah, man. I think y'all. I think all of y'all are right. Those are perfect answers if you ask me. You know what I mean? Everything that y'all said, that's what I'm expecting. Honestly, like it's nothing more, nothing less. I'm just expecting to see an explosive game. Driving and typing. Hey man, be careful with that, Ransom. But yeah, I'm just expecting to see an explosive game. Like I say, I don't know if it will be. This game may turn out as a defensive game. I don't know though, because if they can't stop the run game, then they in trouble. And they one thing about it, I don't know if Alabama hadn't even prepared for a team like Georgia. So, I don't think they even played a team close to it. Well, I don't know now because they got scrubbed the first game of the season. So, they may have they may have played a team like Georgia, which is Florida State. But at the end of the day, I don't know if they prepared for this game. I think they will be prepared. In my mindset, I'm thinking that it will be a close scoring game. I don't think that we're gonna blow them out. Hopefully we do though. Honestly, hopefully we blow them out. It's about time that we blow these suckers out, man. So, hopefully we do blow these dudes out. But I don't think they prepared. Honestly, I don't think this team is prepared. And you on the road, I don't see it. I don't see it. Yeah, they played nobody. I mean, who did you prepare for Georgia with? I mean, the first game of the week you lost. So, the first game of the season you lost, and that was to Florida State. Bama been using a lineman as a running back. Bama been using a lineman as a running back for real? What lineman they been using as a running back? I don't even know who their running back is, because the last couple of times I seen him run, man, he really I'm not saying that he's not a good running back, but he was not getting anywhere, and it could have been due to the offensive line, but dude wasn't doing too much of nothing. So hopefully Georgia could come in this game and run over these dudes, man. I ain't lying. We got to run over these dudes. We got too many backs, too many healthy backs, bro. Our backs is fucking healthy, man. Like, we got to utilize them guys the way we should. You know what I mean? The O-line a little banged up, true enough, but we got to utilize these guys, man, to the max. I ain't gonna lie. I want to see more from Nate Frazier, Chauncey Bowens, and Cash Jones. I want to see them boys on that field dominating, right? And I also got to see Noah Thomas, Dylan Bell, we know we gonna see Zachariah Branch. We already know that. You know what I mean? But I still feel like if we was able to see Noah Thomas a little more, like because he transferred and we still hadn't even with the scrub games, we didn't see him. You know what I'm saying? What you said, 225 girl? I heard Jam Miller is expected to play. He missed time due to injury. Don't know how much of a factor he'll be for Bama. I don't know. Bama running back has been out. He's been expected to. Oh, y'all saying the same thing, Jam Miller? Yeah, y'all saying the same thing. All I know is, man, they gonna have to do something because just as hard as they gonna play us, that we gonna play them just as damn hard. It ain't gonna be no one-sided type of game unless we just do everything to lose this game. But it ain't gonna be one-sided. Nah, we gonna play them just as hard as they play us. So I'm ready and prepared for it. I'm ready. Like I said, I'm a little anxious. I did say nervous, but I think nervous is too much of a harsh word. I'm just a little anxious about this game because I just don't know how it's gonna turn out. I don't think Tennessee was enough for me, and I only say that because if we would have won by a touchdown, then I'd be like, okay. Or 2 touchdowns, and I'll be like, okay, but we literally only won because we had to go into overtime because the kicker could not finish the game. So if we would have won the game against Tennessee by a touchdown or 2, then I'd be definitely all in, like, oh yeah, we about to scrub these dudes. But nah. I gotta be honest. I gotta be more realistic when it comes to this. And I'm on live and I can't be faking it. I got to be more realistic than others and say, I don't know what we're going to do. Watching, the game against Tennessee, I don't know what we'll do. I just know that hopefully they draw up a good plan, and hopefully they can realize that Alabama hasn't really played anybody for us to be losing to these dudes at home. Georgia 35, Bama 21. Hey, long as we on top, I don't care. I do want to see a blowout, but I don't believe there will be a blowout. But long as we on top, it doesn't matter to me, honestly. Hey, so I'm not gonna be on here very long. I sorry for not saying it in the beginning of the live, but I'm only gonna be on here till 6:30. Got other things going on. I'm sure y'all do too. So I'm only gonna be on here till 6:30. So that'll be right at an hour. DB said once we got the lead against Tennessee, they started playing conservative. Yeah. 225 girl said I'm even kneeled this week. I've hyped myself up too many times to be let down before. I'm not engaging in no trash talk at all this week, especially with Bama fans. Hey, man, listen, man, it could go either way. Y'all know that. We done played Bama so many different times. I mean, we done played Bama when we were at our best and still lost. We done played Bama at our best defense, best offense that, you know what I mean, and still have lost, so we have to realize that, it's almost like a curse. And, I don't think it is. I don't believe in that, but it's almost like a curse. So it's like we got to realize it and don't hype yourself up too much. I'll just say that. Don't hype yourself up too much, guys, because it could turn into something that you're not expecting, and then you're going to be crashing and smashing your TVs, man. So don't hype yourself up too much. Just sit back, relax with me on live Saturday night, because I will be live for that. Y'all already know. And y'all know I'm going to talk my ish. Y'all know that. I'm not going to sugarcoat nothing. I'm going to talk my ish. If I see it, I'm calling it out. It is what it is. You can have a difference in opinion, but I'm raw like that. I'm going to call it out. I'm not going to sugarcoat nothing just because that's my team. I'm just that raw when it comes to my team. And I think everybody should be like that. What does it benefit you to be biased about what you see? Like if we visually can see the same thing, we should have the same opinion. But I don't know what's going on with people and why they tend, like I've had Auburn guys when I did the Auburn videos. So I had Auburn guys come in there. Oh, you don't know football. How don't I know football? if your team is playing like trash, doesn't that mean you're trash? You know what I mean? If your team only score in one quarter, doesn't that make your team trash? And only score one time in the whole quarter, and you hadn't scored any touchdowns in the first and the second half, and you didn't score in the fourth quarter either. Doesn't that make your team trash? Yeah, in my opinion, you're trash. So it's like when I'm watching the game, I'm not watching the game just thinking, oh, these are my dogs. So I'm just gonna come with excuses. I'm not that type of person. I'm not that type of person in my regular life outside of social media. I'm one of the realest, and I'm gonna be honest. If something ain't right, I'm gonna speak about it. So if you're not into that, then this is not the channel for you. Go over there to them other ones. This is the channel where we original and raw over here. So it is what it is. I don't mean to come off like I'm ranting or nothing. I'm just keeping it honest. But yeah, what other thoughts do y'all have though? What other thoughts? Because I can't think of nothing else. I mean, we healthy. Outside of the O-line, I mean, we're healthy. Are we gonna see Ellis Robinson on defense? Like, what is he? I know he didn't get his job taken. He's a 5-star recruit. I know he didn't get his job taken. So are we expecting to see him start again for them Georgia Bulldogs? He started at the beginning of the season. I mean, it was a back and forth from what I was hearing in the offseason the whole time. It was a back and forth between him and Daniel Harris. But even Daniel Harris, had a busted play. So, and I think was it Daniel or Ellis that allowed the touchdown? It was one of the two. But no matter which one, both of those guys to me still didn't look great, but they can get better. Don't get me wrong. They can get better. You know what I mean? You at Georgia with Kirby Smart, you have to get better. Even Dalen Everett. Like I said in the beginning of the video, I'm not sure if he's actually hurt. I thought I might have saw in an article somewhere that he may be, but then again, I just did my research on it and I didn't really see anything. So I don't know what I saw earlier, but even with Dalen Everett is not the best type of DB in my opinion. He's always behind his receivers. He's always behind running, but chasing receivers down. Mondo, my guy, man, what's up, man? Bro, please tell me that we are not wearing those janky black jerseys Saturday night. Hey, I don't know. Did Kirby say anything about it in the press conference? Because I know they posted it at some point today. Then they because I watched some of the video, but he was mainly talking about the little clip that I watched. I was really just going to the video just to see who was injured. So I'm not sure if they're gonna wear the black jerseys. I'm not sure about that. What you mean janky, man? I love the black jerseys. I think we need something different too, right? You know what I'm saying? We need something different, right? Like, for real, Daniel and Ellis allowed those touchdowns. Okay, so both of them allowed the touchdown. I expected them to improve during the season, especially Ellis. This first year is fully especially Ellis. This is his first year fully playing. Yeah, I think Ellis going to have to take some time to really sit back and watch and sit back and figure out, what he's doing. I think it's going to take time. He's not a 5-star high recruit for no reason. Like, he was like the number one guy. So it's like he's going to show up at some point. Some guys, it may take a little longer, but I just need to see something coming from this game. Like, I need to see something. Like, This game is gonna be the game to tell, as far as both of these teams, how well these teams really are. This game right here, I thought it was against Tennessee, but I don't know, right? I don't know, because we could have easily lost that game too, if he would have kicked the damn field goal, and so we could have easily lost that one too, right? But we grind in that one. Now the grind, I believe we have wholeheartedly. The grind, I don't believe, left Georgia. The talent, some of the talent, yeah. But the grind is still there. They still bought into Kirby Smart. So that's what I love about Kirby Smart, because he the players buy into what he's trying to accomplish over there at Georgia. The only thing black that the players should wear are black suits and shades when they doing the dog walk. Black jerseys against Bama it's like a black cat lurking around and it's bad luck. Okay, well if you think it's bad luck, then it is what it is. It could be bad luck, right? But yeah, anyway, man, I like that the team, every team that come to Georgia, or every most of the players that come to Georgia, they all are bought into Kirby Smart's plan, right? And that's to be great. And that's what I like about Kirby Smart, because Kirby Smart is not a coach that's going to stand on the sideline and smile and pat you on the ass when you're doing wrong. You know what I mean? He's not one of those type of guys. He's one of the type of guys that, always see, always feel, hold on. He's one of those type of guys that see room for improvement no matter what you do. I'm sure that he gives them compliments. See, I'm sure that he does, smile and make them feel comfortable at times. But we don't need him like Shane Beamer. And I always go to Shane Beamer because I saw Shane Beamer doing some weird stuff one year against Georgia, smiling and clapping even when they were losing. And I was like, wow, what kind of coach is this, right? And speaking of Carolina, they did lose against Missouri. And it wasn't good for those guys. I don't know what happened to Lenoris. I thought that he got injured the game prior to playing Missouri, but that game definitely I was concerned about them guys, man. But anyway, I just felt like Kirby Smart is not one of those type of coaches, man. Kirby Smart one of those type of coaches that feel like, yeah, you did a good job, but get your ass back out there. We got more football to play. So I love that. I love that. I don't think that it's over. When we think it's over, it is not over. When we think we won a game, it is still not over. You still have a full season ahead of you, right? So I think that we probably will pull this game off at the end of the day. I think we got what it takes to pull this game off. I don't know about Juan Gatson. Did Juan Gatson play against Tennessee? Somebody let me know in the chat. Did he play against Tennessee, y'all? Let me know in the chat. Because I'm not sure if he did play against Tennessee, but with him and Ernest Green out, that's why I'm asking the question. With him and Ernest Green being out, I'm not sure how well we'll do as far as the pass, as far as the pass rush. Not the pass rush. I'm tripping. Told y'all I had a little to drink. But I'm just concerned with the O-line for the most part. I think that's the only thing. The O-line and the secondary. I think that's the main two things that I'm concerned with. I'm not concerned with nothing else, to be real with y'all. I'm not concerned with nothing else. I don't think you should be concerned with anything else. I think the main two things are the secondary and the O-line. That's it. If we can get that together, we'll be perfect. We'll be good. And we need to see a lot from Gunnar Stockton. This is the time to pull it out, Gunnar. This is the time to prove everybody wrong, including me. This is the time to say I am the dog you need at quarterback. Because I feel like he's a good quarterback for Georgia, but he still, to me, haven't really proven himself to be a Heisman winner or anything like that. He ain't proved that. And I know a lot of guys are speaking about him, being a Heisman candidate or whatever, but at least prove it to us at some point, man. And I don't want to see you prove it to us against no scrub team like Auburn. You know what I mean? I don't want to, even though I know we're going to smash Auburn, I still don't. I want to see it against a team like Alabama. I want to be able to rub it in their faces like they rub it in ours damn near every single year they win. So it's like at the end of the day, I got to see that from him. And like I said before, y'all, I'm not going to go too long. 6:30, I'm out. So be prepared, but I appreciate everybody that jumped off in the live. Also, my main regulars, 225 Girl, Mondo Black TV, Ransom the Don, Bobby Chulo. I appreciate all y'all. I know we going to be going crazy Saturday. Saturday's going to be a crazy, crazy weekend, man. It's going to be crazy, man. I'm not even going to lie, because there's some good games out there. We're going to have some good fun. I'm ready for it. I'm ready and prepared for this whole weekend. I'm going to set all my plans to the side so that I can go live for these two games and not have no interruptions. You know what I mean? But I'm just ready for it, man. I'm all for it. And so this weekend we got Florida State versus Virginia. Virginia is 3-1. Florida State obviously 3-0. We got Tennessee, number 24 Tennessee, 3-0. You know what I mean? Against Arizona State. They 3-1. Obviously, you got Bama and Georgia, Georgia Tech and Wake Forest. That should be a good one. I believe, Georgia Tech will take that one. But anyway, we got USC and Illinois. I will not even be thinking about that game. Then you got Notre Dame and Arkansas. Notre Dame is 1-2. They number 22 in the AP poll. So, Arkansas may have a chance of beating these guys. You know what I'm saying? Then we got Utah State and Vanderbilt. I think Vanderbilt will take that one. But at the same time, you just never know. Any given Saturday. Then you got Ohio State and Washington. Speaking of Ohio State, how are these guys number one? Is I guess because they beat the number one team the first game of the season. But I still don't feel like Ohio State should be number one right now, especially with the fact that you only beat Texas by 1 touchdown, and also you haven't played anybody but Grambling and Ohio. So how are you guys number one? Can anybody explain to me that's watching this live right now how Ohio State is number one? Because in my opinion, I don't feel like they should be number one, even though they beat the number one team. That was at the beginning of the season. And then you played 2 games after. Neither one of these teams are ranked. Neither one of these teams are about nothing. First, Gambling didn't score 1 point. Ohio didn't score nothing but 9. So how is this team number one right now, as if right now? I just don't get it. I don't really get it. Maybe because you played the SEC team and won by 1 touchdown. Maybe that's what it is. Like I said, I just need somebody to explain to me, because I'm really not understanding why. It's not because I'm a Georgia fan and I just want to dog another team out. I really don't understand how this team is number one right now. I don't see it. I feel like it's been other teams out there that's played tougher opponents. Even if it's a Gambling or Austin P or I still feel like for Georgia, we've played tougher opponents, and we definitely played a tougher opponent against Tennessee. But it is what it is, man. They're number one for right now. Sometimes I ain't gonna lie, I like being the underdog. I'm gonna be real with you. I like being the underdog because I feel like we have something to grind for. So let's get back to the schedule for this week. Man, we got obviously LSU, Ole Miss. I will be live for that. Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned for that. You know what I mean? You got sorry Auburn and Texas A&M. I'm gonna give it to Texas A&M. Then we got Indiana and Iowa. I would not be watching Indiana and Iowa, but I think I'll take Indiana. You got Tennessee and Mississippi State. I really don't know about that game. I don't know who will win that one. You know what I mean? Tennessee, I don't know, man. Tennessee may have the edge, but it'll be bad for Tennessee to lose to an unranked Mississippi State team. Then you got Arizona and Iowa State, man. So I'm gonna take Iowa State, even though I don't follow these teams. So I'm gonna take Iowa just because they are 14 in the AP poll. They are 4-0, even though Arizona is 3-0. So I'm gonna take Iowa State. Then you got number 6 Oregon and number 3 Penn State. That's gonna be a crazy one. That's definitely going to be a crazy one. It's at 7:30, but obviously we cannot pay attention to that because we don't play either one of these teams in the regular season. So we don't have time to really be paying attention to that game. And plus it's at 7:30, same time we Bulldog Alabama. Then you got UMass and Missouri. Obviously I'm going to take Missouri over UMass. UMass right now is 0-3. Then you got BYU and Colorado. I'm going to go ahead and take BYU on that one. Haven't been hearing too many great things coming from Colorado since Shedeur left. It could be some great things going on over there. I'm just not aware of it, but I'm going to go ahead and take BYU. And, I'm going to take BYU. They number 25, and they're the last in the AP poll, but I'll rather take them over Colorado. But yeah, at the end of the day, man, it is what it is. When it all boils down to it, it all come back to Georgia. Georgia has to be perfect this game, I believe. We have to be perfect. We're at home. I think it'll be an embarrassment for us to lose at home. I don't want to see us lose at home. We can't lose at home. With this type of caliber team, man, with all of these talented players, transfers and all, I think that we really should bring out all of the weapons that we have. We we speak about it the whole live, that we do have problems on the O-line, and we do have problems as far as our secondary. Hopefully, they can do 10 times better than the way they did against Tennessee. I don't think there are many kinks in our armor. To be real with you, I don't know what Kangaroo Black talked about. I watched a little bit of his video, but I don't know, I didn't watch all of it, so I don't know what he saw or what he thinks, but in my opinion, there's not many kinks in our armor. So at the end of the day, I think we got it in the bag. We just got to let it all out, So in my opinion, I feel like we're good to go. I'm still gonna be a little bit excited. My blood temperature, my blood sugar gonna probably rush up. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I think that if we do what we need to do at home, look, we at home, man. The crowd is gonna be crazy. The crowd is gonna be erupting. Hopefully the crowd is participating the way they should be, which I think they would. This is a big game for us. So I think most fans that come out is definitely gonna try to make it hard for Alabama. And we should. I don't think Ty Simpson has been in a bigger game than this since he's been in Alabama. I don't know if he's been in a bigger game. Somebody could correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know, me personally, if he's been in a bigger game than this coming Saturday. So, y'all got to be tuned in to me, because y'all know I'm going to give you that raw and uncut feeling, and I ain't going to change it for nobody. I don't care what nobody say. So if you a South Georgia fan, do not come off in the live Saturday night, because I'm telling you, I'm going to be already on that juice. I'm gonna be already crunk up by the time that game come on. So if you're not into getting raw and uncut and unfiltered Georgia Bulldog talk, do not come over here, man. I ain't lying, bro, because it's going to be real over here. But that's how I try to be. I got to be like that, bro. I feel like I'm more comfortable like that. I'm more comfortable with being myself on live versus trying to hold back my true feelings about what's really going on with them dogs. And I don't think we're going to benefit by not talking about what's really going on with them dogs. I'm talking about while the game is going. I'm not talking about right now, because like I just told you, I don't see too many kinks in our armor right now. I just see we going to have to grind it out. You know what I mean? I do see a close scoring game. I know my guy Ransom the Don said 35-41. What he said? 35-21 Georgia, but we'll see. We'll see. I don't know if we're going to be able to put up 35. It is what it is. Even if we do or we don't, long as we come out on top, that's all I'm worried about. So at the end of the day, man, it is what it is, man. I really don't have much more to speak on. I don't know much of what's going on at Bama. I only know, Ty Simpson. They say they running back is coming back, obviously. Bernard and Williams, they look, pretty decent this season. But at the end of the day, like I said, they didn't play anybody. So I'm not expecting to see a whole lot, because they didn't play anybody. They didn't play a team like Georgia. So how could they possibly beat a team like Georgia unless we do everything wrong? Now, if we do everything wrong, then yeah, obviously I can see. But these guys didn't play nobody. They haven't played anybody. I mean, the best team that they have played this season was Florida State. You know what I mean? They got blew out by Florida State. And Florida State is a pretty decent team. So I got to give them credit. They are a decent team now. I'm not going to sit here and play like, they are a bad team. They got beat by a bad team. No, that's not the case at all. So I just look at it like we got what it takes to be able to beat this team, and people got to tune in. People got to tune in Saturday, man. 7:30, man. We are going to be live for that game, So at the end of the day, man, like I say, man, I appreciate everybody that walked off in the live. I appreciate everybody that tuned into me every time I drop something, because this journey has been real long, trying to do this and trying to do other stuff in my personal life. So, I appreciate everybody that's liking the video. And like I said, I'm going to say it again, too. Make sure y'all hit that like button, man. Those that support the channel, those that are dog fans, man, y'all hit that like button, because this journey is tough. I got a lot of competition out there. You know what I mean? I'm the only one that's like me that do this Georgia Bulldog content. And I actually go live and actually converse back and forth with the fan base. So, if you feel comfortable and you want to come over here and you want to jump off in the live and, give your opinion on what's going on, I never discredit your opinion. I might disagree with it. You know what I mean? But, hey, man, this is the place to be if you want to kick back, relax, and just come and, watch some good content. I am your guy, Major. You know what I mean? And y'all already know this the Doghouse. And I got 1 minute, but we going to end it right here. So, like I say, stay tuned, man. Saturday, man. Stay tuned Saturday. You got LSU versus Ole Miss. We will be watching that at 3:30. Then we're going to come back at 7:30, and we're going to be dog walking on them Alabama Crimson Tide elephants or whatever you want to call them clowns. So we going to be at it, man. Y'all stay tuned. We going to holler.